Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As ladies and gentlemen, I have a couple very important announcements to make. But first, to my OnlyFans community, I'm a little backed up on the DMs over the past couple days, as now there's 100 of you in there with these DMs. But I will be catching up with all of you today and sending you your video responses or responding to your DMs. But in addition, I'm making another update post because I believe important updates are needed in regards to the tokens we've put some money in. And we're going to break it down thoroughly. Now, for everyone else, my free course that I've been working on is getting its final touches. And it will be available to every single one of you in the public very, very soon. I'm unbelievably excited to release it. And I think all of you are going to benefit handsomely from it. Now here we see that an analyst has stated XRP may see a huge boost in the coming days. And this is actually an article about me. And they actually do a pretty decent job in talking about what it is that I stated. I'm not calling for a massive price appreciation surge in just a couple days. But November 19th is a special day in regards to SWIFT and ISO 2002 updates in regards to the future of the financial system. November 19th is the next step of implementation for SWIFT and ISO 20022, and ISO is way bigger than anyone expects. I believe it's way bigger than we even talk about. We're not allowed to be hypey or get excited or bring out dates when things are actually happening. No. Because then the XRP police will say, oh, you're too excited. Fuck yeah, I'm too excited about what I own and what's going to make me generational wealth. And if you're not, you could get it to the back of the line. This is my channel. And we get excited about what's going to happen with the future of our money on this channel. DTCC, SWIFT, Bank of New York Mellon, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, HSBC, Citi, Credit Suisse, Barclays. November 19th implementation date. Stay tuned, my friends, as over the last couple days as well, I've been showing you Kristalina Georgieva and the IMF talking about implementing the next stages of this financial system. And here, we have to remember that James Wallace revealed 15% of countries around the world are going to be working with Ripple for CBDCs, and that's at least. Here she talks about exploring CBDCs and how financial technology must be expedited to improve cross-border payments. I believe XRP is at the front of the line in regards to that niche. And just watch as everything we've been talking about for years comes to fruition now.
This is not the time to turn back. The public sector should keep preparing to deploy CBDCs and related payment platforms in the future. These platforms should be designed from the start to facilitate cross-border payments, including with CBDCs. We can learn from you, entrepreneurs, business leaders, investors, and brave policy makers. We are so impressed by your bravery to be the sailors in these open waters. Waves and winds are your inspiration.
And you heard it right there from the IMF's mouth. Now I wonder, I heavily question what platform, what company, what can start from the beginning, from its inception with the idea of cross-border payments and interoperability. While we all try and figure that one out, We have to understand that the weakening strength the SEC has been experiencing is at the forefront of crypto discussions. The current director of the SEC was asked what is the current thinking of the SEC in light of the recent court decisions in the SEC versus Ripple case. And remember, as I told all of you, I believe the SEC now has less power to regulate crypto. But I think his answer is very interesting and something we all need to pay attention to.
I wanted to ask you what is the current thinking from the SEC in light of recent court decisions, but for the benefit of our readers, let me summarize the misalignment as best as I can. So, as you know, Judge Torres in the Southern District of New York considered XRP by Ripple Labs and found that the sales of tokens to institutional investors were actually securities because they were directly negotiated with the understanding that proceeds from these sales will be reinvested into the enterprise. Obviously, these were exempt transactions, but the threshold question was that contract involved a security. But on the other hand, she found that sales to the public in anonymous transactions over crypto exchanges, these were not securities because investors did not buy from Ripple and they were not responding to any marketing campaign. So that's what Judge Torres found. On the other hand, Judge Rakoff did not fall in line with that reading, and he argued that no such distinction can arise because if there is a public campaign for the tokens, it draws no distinction on whether it is on the type of purchaser, institutional or retail. So I know you cannot comment on current cases, but I was hoping you could expand on the factors the SEC considers when it approaches this question.
Sure. I mean, you're right. I can't comment on pending litigation, and there is a lot of pending litigation right now. But I think there's not a lawyer in the room that you're in or a lawyer that practices in this space or a court that really struggles to find the framework that we use to determine whether or not something constitutes a security in this space. In this case, in the crypto space, all the attorneys in this room, all the attorneys counseling crypto issuers look to the Howey test. And Howey, based on a seminal Supreme Court case from 1946 and decades of case law since, defines what, or gives us a framework of determining what constitutes an investment contract and therefore a security under the federal securities laws. And that's really the point of Howey. Whether or not something is a security doesn't depend on the label you give it. It doesn't.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but listening to the SEC trying to break down the magnitude of their loss and trying to spin it as if it's any type of victory is laughable. I made a major prediction in a previous video that I think the CFTC is going to start playing a pivotal role in regulating the digital asset space. And I still hold true to that. I still hold true to XRP adoption. I still hold true to this November timeframe being significant for the infrastructure buildup that will inevitably be important for XRP adoption to roll out. And we have the macro environment that'll be there for allowing crypto to thrive. The United States is collapsing, and Ray Dalio says the U.S. is at an inflection point concerning its national debt, as it currently borrows money to cover its debt. We're in a massive recession. Rates are too damn high. Inflation is not tamed, no matter how they try to spin it. And let's see what they try and pull out of their hats to fix this problem they made. I think XRP and CBDCs are going to be a pivotal answer. And I'm going to leave you with Ray Dalio explaining to you the magnitude of the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
The longer term is that we are at a point in which we are borrowing money to pay debt service. And there is a process by which when you keep having debt growth faster than income growth, then that means that you have debt service encroaching on your spending. It's the same for the government as it is for us. And as that happens, and you want to keep spending at the same level, there is the need to get more and more into debt. And the way that works, it's like it accelerates. We are at the point of that acceleration, which creates the supply-demand problem. And it's made worse by the other issues that we're talking about. The internal political issue, the internal social conflict issue there is something that is affecting foreign demand for bonds. For about 40% of our debt is sold to foreigners. And so there is a concern of the American politics, of the controlling of this debt crisis, and these types of things. So we come back to the same basic question. How strong are we going to be? When we talk about strong, what I mean is also economically strong. And economically strong means financially strong. That means it's just a basic thing. Financially strong means, do you earn more than you spend? And do you have a good income statement as a country? Do we have a good income statement? And do we have a good balance sheet? More assets than we have liabilities. The worse that gets, the more we are going to have that long-term problem. And it's just, you can see it in the numbers. It's just a matter of numbers. We are near that inflection point.